Hello everyone, this is Aman Bikra from Guru Nanak Dev University and I'm legal intern at Lexis and Company. So today's topic is about public interest litigation. So first of all, it has not been defined in any Indian statute. However, courts have interpreted and defined PIL. The Honorable Supreme Court of India has, in the case of Janata Dal versus H.S. Chaudhary, held that the expression PIL means a legal action started in a court of law for the enforcement of public, or we can say general interest, where the public or a particular class of the public uh, have some interest that affects their legal rights or liabilities. So we can say that it is basically considered to be the most effective as well as the most commonly used judicial tool to safeguard the environment due to their many advantages, including but not limited to speedy results, or we can say nominal court fees, relaxed procedural laws, and a wide variety of investigate techniques available to court like special committees. The question comes that who can file a PIL. Any individual or organization can file a PIL either in his or her or their own standing, that is, to protect or enforce a right owned to him, her, or them by the government or on behalf of a section of a society who is disadvantaged or oppressed and is not able to enforce their own rights. Basically, the concept of locus standi has been relaxed in the case of public interest litigations so as to enable the Honorable Court to look into grievances that are filed on behalf of those who are poor, illiterate, deprived, or disabled and are unable to approach the courts themselves. However, only a person acting in good faith and who has sufficient interest in the proceeding will have the locus standi to file a PIL. A person who approaches the Honorable Court for personal gain, private profit, political, or any oblique consideration will not be entertained by the private interest litigation. We can say that the suo motu cognizance may also be taken by the court. Basically, public interest litigations are extensions of writ jurisdiction. So we can say that public interest litigations may be filed either before the Honorable Supreme Court of India under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, or any High Court under Article 226 of the Indian Constitution. However, even a simple letter or a postcard addressed to the Chief Justice of India or the Chief Justice of a High Court may suffice. The court may then choose to take cognizance of the letter and convert it into a public interest litigation, as in the case of Rural Litigation and Entitlement Kendra Dehradun versus State of Uttar Pradesh 1989. In that case, the Honorable Court converted a letter raising the issue of unauthorized and legal mining in Mussoorie Hills into a writ petition under public interest litigation, and it was a popular case. So, what are the laws governing public interest litigation in India? Over the years, the courts of India have formulated various principles with respect to public interest litigations. Relaxed rules of locus standi also is one of them. Public interest litigation can be filed by any person for the welfare of others who are disadvantaged and others unable to approach the courts themselves. Thus, the general rule of locus standi has been relaxed in cases of public interest litigation to protect and safeguard the interest and rights of these disadvantaged people. Relaxed procedural rules also come under this, that courts have treated even a letter or a telegram as a PIL, as in the case of Dehradun versus State of Uttar Pradesh. Even the law regarding pleadings has been relaxed by the courts in cases of PILs. The other one is about that court has also highlighted the facts that Article 14 and 21 of the Constitution of India and the International Conventions on Human Rights provide for a fair and reasonable trial. Thus, courts must intervene when injustice is done to many. Then comes the question of maintainability. The government may not be allowed to raise questions as to the maintainability of the PIL, and if the court is prima facie satisfied that there is a violation of any constitutional rights of a disadvantaged category of people. Then comes principle of res judicata, or any principle analogous to it would depend on the circumstances and facts of the case and the nature of the PIL. The other one is appointment of a commission. In special circumstances, a court may appoint a commission or other bodies to investigate. In the event that the commission takes over a public institution, the court may direct management of it. So, ordinarily, the High Court should not entertain such a petition by way of PIL. Complete justice. Under Article 142 of the Constitution of India, the Honorable Supreme Court of India has a discretionary power to pass a decree or order or may be necessary to do complete justice. However, while High Courts may pass orders to do complete justice, they do not have power akin to those granted to the Honorable Supreme Court under Article 142. So that was all about audio from Partum. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, put a thumbs up on this video, and also don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Let's click. And this does not solicit any promotion or advertisement as per the guidelines of the Bar Council of India. It is for education purpose only.